Hi everyone, this video is designed to both conclude the first week of our class and to begin the second week of our class. And so in this video, what I want to do are address a number of items that came up during the first week. I want to address the work we completed during the first week, and I want to make sure that you're taking notes throughout because these videos cover some really significant concepts in our class, and it's by engaging with these concepts and responding to these concepts that we will continue to develop as writers, okay? And that's a really important part of this class. So let's just take a few moments to think about steps 1 and 2. Steps 1 and 2. Now, step 1 was a quiz, and I had several requests. Maybe 3 or 4 students reached out to me and said something like, I want to take the quiz again. I want another chance at the quiz for various reasons. It's a reasonable enough request. It is not something that's a possibility in this class. So the point of these quizzes isn't to take it and then later figure out the answers and then take the quiz again. That's not every case that I received, but that was several of them. We want to make sure that when we're taking these quizzes, we are as ready as possible to take them. Overall, the average grade was a 90, okay, on the quiz, so that tells me that the vast majority of us were able to move through it with very little difficulty. However, things do happen to people. That's absolutely reasonable, and so one of the things I want you to be aware of is that there are a number of quizzes in this class, and they're significant to the class, but there are a number of them. So if 1 or 2 quizzes comes in lower than you had expected or had hoped, I would not worry about that having an outsized impact on your final grade. Okay. If anything, a quiz that comes back with a lower grade than you had hoped, maybe telling you something about your approach to taking the quiz, your approach to gathering the materials, the approach to being in a good place to do the work. Those kinds of things do happen to people. And so it's important to take that understanding and that experience into future quizzes. But where it is an online class and where there are just set questions, it's not a possibility to allow people to retake the quiz. Okay, so that's an important thing to understand. We also need to understand the significance of becoming responsible for the knowledge that we're acquiring. That's really important too. So anyway, overall the average was a 90, which is very consistent with the grades that students have received on this quiz historically in this class from me. So things seem to be on track for the vast majority of us in terms of step 1. In terms of step 2, I want to talk a little bit about that with you. That was our initial writing diagnostic, okay? And everybody who did the assignment did quite well, by which I mean I think I made a maximum of 10 points associated with the assignment because it's an early assignment and we want to keep it relatively low stakes. And if you turned in the work, kind of regardless of the academic aptitude that you demonstrated, you were recorded as complete. So that part's really good. And we'll talk more about that in a second. However, there were a number of people who did not submit the assignment, kind of a shocking number of people. So many, in fact, that the average on an all or nothing assignment, the average is like a 73, even though everybody who did it got 100. So that was kind of shocking. Okay, so there were a number of people who didn't do the work. If you're not going to do the work for the class, my advice is to withdraw immediately during the add drop period. To contact your advisor, to contact the school and withdraw. You don't want to linger on in a class that you're not intending to participate in. Okay, that's really important to be aware of. So I would say that to you. But let's stick with those of us who did complete it, because those of us who did complete it, I saw a real interesting range of approaches to your writing. Now, this is a first semester college class, and everybody is coming from a different academic background. And everybody is coming with different levels of training in terms of their academic background. And so that's one of the reasons why I made this a complete or incomplete assignment, because I don't know necessarily where you are all coming from. However, what I can do is I can look at your work and I can say, here is what would be expected, generally speaking, by this point in your academic career. So you're somebody who's in college and you have presumably gone through a secondary education curriculum of one kind or another. Okay, so what can be expected at this point, regardless of whether or not someone spells it out for you, what you are responsible for knowing, and if you're not aware of this, then you now are, is that when we write for, say, an academic audience, we are organizing and stringing together multiple ideas. And so what I'm looking for, or what I should be seeing in your writing is an awareness of paragraph structure. Okay, so I'm looking, are you writing in responses that contain multiple ideas that are transitioned between? Are you doing that? Are you aware that a paragraph presents and develops only a single idea and that that idea needs to be supported with evidence? And some of you are aware of that, others of you are not. So in some of my responses to your writing, I'm saying things like, you need to be aware of writing with multiple paragraphs, and you need to be aware of writing with cited references to the text. Okay, so quoting and paraphrasing and then citing in some fashion. I'm not looking for some kind of perfect formatting, but referencing the page numbers that you're referencing the page numbers that you're drawing from, in your writing. I should be seeing that. And a large number of you are writing in multi-paragraph responses, and a large number of you are including references to the pages that you are discussing or that you're taking words from, things like that in your writing. I really want to see that from everybody. So, my comment on your initial submission is probably pushing you in the direction of writing in multiple paragraphs and bringing some kind of citation practice to bear in the writing. Okay, so that's important. I'm happy to help you with that. If you don't know what that means, we can talk about it some more. We can discuss it some more. But that's a standard that I'll expect from you when you write for me in this class. You're demonstrating an awareness of how important it is to present and develop ideas, to associate them in a piece of writing, and you're aware of the need to cite the text you're working with when you're talking about it. Those things are pretty fundamental. I'm really not cluing in right now or getting too attentive to your grammar or your syntax or things like that. I'm looking for your basic approach to academic writing, okay? And that will continue into this week. As we get into this coming week and we think about steps 3 and 4, you will be confronted with a quiz again. So you'll want to think about your approach to quiz taking based on your experience with the first quiz in this class. And you'll be presented with an opportunity to kind of develop and refine some writing that you've already produced in the class as we get into step 4. So I want you to be thinking a lot about how it is you approach writing and how it is you approach quiz taking, and that should be helpful to you as you get into this week. Now, what I also want you to be aware of is that my office hours are, generally speaking, Monday and Wednesday and Friday from 12 to 2. Okay, so we should be, those should be good times. If they're not good times for you, let me know. And if you want to speak at another time, we can do that with a phone conversation or a Zoom call. I'm not going to recap a whole week's worth of instruction for you in an email. You do have the class resource itself in the videos that I'm providing in the assignments to review and the announcements that I provide as resources. But I'm very happy to talk with you about this work, okay? Either through Zoom or through a phone conversation. So I look forward to seeing the work that you produce this week, okay? Good luck with it, and let me know, please, if you have any questions.